So Carissa, you are a woman who just inspires all. But really, you hold so many titles, so many hats that you wear. So tell me just about a few. I know I've known you for a while, but I really want you to tell me just about the few that are so important to you.
Yes. Great question. So some clients would call me a business strategist. Some would say leadership coach. Some would even say I'm their identity engineer because I help them build their mindsets. And but I like to wear all the titles, right? Like I throw them all up in the air. I'm like, which one am I going to wear today? Some of my favorites are global humanitarian. You know, humanitarian work is really, really important to me. Another one, of course, is wife. As a military spouse, so I travel all around the world following her husband everywhere. You know, it's nice to have a business that goes with that. So that's a really proud title I wear. I'm a mom. I wear that title, of course. You know, a couple hours a day. Do I wear that hat? Grandma. Gosh, there's so many. So I think, though, under all of that is, you know, I'm just a woman who has figured out how to, you know, push through, to be resilient, to stand for something, you know, to get outside of boxes. And I'm a woman who doesn't really care what people think. And I just roll with it.
So what made you really choose to be that woman, to really embody the woman that you're like, I don't care what people think. I'm going to do this. I'm going to fulfill my purpose. Take me back to when you really decided that.
Oh, all right. Well, how I got into this area of my life.
Yes.
Because as you know, right, we all have journeys and stories and memories. And at once I was in corporate, and before that I was a tuxedo suit and cigar shop owner, right? And I grew up in the wedding industry, so there was all kinds of things. I mean, I wanted to go to the Olympics, for goodness sakes. When I was little, I wanted, you know, to be a gymnast. So I've always dreamed big. I've never had a problem of dreaming big. But there was once a time that I knew I was meant for more, and it really landed in my body. So I was working full time as a marketing and sales director for a collision center. I was the wife, I was the mom, I was doing it all. And I was going to school to be a coach. And I'll be honest, the coaching was always like a when my husband retires type thing. Because I mean, come on, I had the 6-figure job, the salary, the car, the credit cards, like all of the friends that of course wanted to go to the golf courses with me, like everything. And I remember being asked to share my story on a stage in Texas. And I went.
Sorry, stop. Your earring is flipped.
Oh, you got OCD. Yeah, you got OCD.
Sorry.
Gotcha. All right, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so I went to Texas, right? I flew to Texas, and I had no idea really like what that was going to do for me. All I was like, I want to connect with all these other health coaches, and I'm going to share my story. It was like my first major stage. 700 health coaches, by the way.
Wow.
My very first stage.
Okay.
But you know, I ripped the Band-Aid off, screw it, whatever. So I get there, and I'm sharing my story, and right there in this like rock star moment, literally, I like made that pose, and I got these full body chills. And I got this, what I call a divine download from the universe and from God. And I didn't realize that I needed to become a coach and a speaker more than I did in that moment. And I knew right there that I was playing so small by trying to manage all of these things, right? Trying to be good at marketing and sales and speaking and coaching and all of the things. And I realized I got to quit messing around, man. I'm meant for more now. I'm here to change the next 100 generations of women's lives. And that came in, and I was like, okay. I hear you. Thank you. So, I mean, I finished that talk. I felt like $1 million, of course. I had speaker high, and I get backstage, and I'm like, Carissa, you got to capture this moment. And so I pull out my phone, and I'm like, babe, I just nailed the talk. But even more, I got this download, and I know that I am there to coach and speak, and that's what I got to do. I wasn't looking for validation. I wasn't looking for his approval. I was like, this is going to change me leaving my 6-figure job. This is going to change our family's dynamics a little bit financially, but I know this is what I'm meant to do. And, you know, he's like, okay, right, we'll figure this out. And it took me 4 months to leave that job because I was like, I love this job. It was my baby. And, you know, I put so much blood, sweat, and tears. I know so many women relate to that. We're all in, and we just give it 100%. So it took a lot for me to go, but it wasn't always easy, right? I left. I had a full roster of clients ready to work with me. Everything felt great. And then 3 months later, divorce. And then Hashimoto's. And then COVID. And And with all of those, right, came the dry spell. The bank account was running low. I was investing in myself, trying to figure out how to build this business. And I eventually got to the point where I had to move into my best friend's house. I couldn't afford my bills anymore. So my 2 kids moved into my best friend Jen's house. You know, my daughter and I shared a 10 by 10 room as I was like trying to position the Zoom camera so no one could see the bed. And my son slept on the couch. And I had this moment where I was like, Carissa, I was crying, right? Full blown ugly.
Yeah. Oh, for
ugly
sure.
cry. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, why are you doing this to yourself? And I was like, Carissa, stop it, right? I was like, you have a choice. You're not stuck here. And you can go back to a corporate job and you can get your life back on track and then come and do this entrepreneur thing later on.
Yeah.
And then there was like, no, I have another choice, right? And the choice was, you can stick this out, you can figure it out, God will provide. Everything that you've ever needed has always been given to you, and you are a no-nonsense type of girl. Like, you're gonna do this. And I kind of like slapped myself across the face if I could, like a virtual slap and energy. And you know, 2 years later, it was $250,000. 5 years later, $1 million, you know? So if I can do it, anyone can do it, that's for sure.
So what did you do to take yourself from that like $0, like living in your friend's basement, your son's on the couch, your daughter is sharing a room, this 10 by 10, basically jail cell, if you think about it. And so it's like, what took you from that $0 to the successful woman that I know you are now?
Yeah. I think the big shift, and if I could give any entrepreneur some advice and some tips, would be, number one, continue to invest in yourself, right? So I stuck to my habits. I worked out every day. I ate every day, right? I got good sleep because I knew I just came off of a 100-pound weight loss journey. I was like, I gotta stick to what I know, right? My health is important. So that was number one. Number two is invest in coaches and mentors. I would not be where I am today without them, for sure, because there are times, as you know, as an entrepreneur, right? Like, we doubt ourselves, and we doubt our brilliance.
All the time.
And we don't even see our magic.
Yes.
And so, you know, my coaches, when I had doubt, they would say, no, Carissa, you know, root me back in. And I was like, okay, right? So that was the second thing. And then the third biggest shift that took me from, you know, 2023, I hit $250,000. And by the end of 2024, we hit over $1 million. And the biggest shift for me was the identity piece. It was identity. I had to become the woman behind the brand that could hold multi-six figures, that could have massive successful financial months and not, you know, go pick a fight with my husband or burn myself out to the ground. So identity shifting is, I mean, AKA mindset, however you want to look at it. But it's really the work that I'm known for now. Like, I have a proven system, the Alpha Queen Activation System, walks women through who they need to be, what they need to do, like how they need to commit to themselves, all so that they can impact, you know, the lives that they want to impact. So it's a beautiful system. It's easy to do. The hardest part is embodying it, and that's where the coaching comes in, right? That support and accountability that's ongoing.
Which makes sense. And with your clients, what do you notice are their biggest hurdles? Because you talk about that identity, but you work very specifically with women entrepreneurs. Like, what are their big obstacles or hurdles that you see them come to you and like, Carissa, fix this?
Well, they honestly start by wanting to fix their strategy. They're like, my marketing plan's a hot mess. My branding is all over. I don't have a sales process. I don't even have a methodology, right? So it's kind of twofold. And I work with clients in two different ways, right? We have more of the business mastery track where we're going to teach you how to generate leads, how to sell yourself, how to, you know, package your offers up so they're scalable. So we give you the business strategy. So yes, women come to me for that. That's easy. I can do that in my sleep. Like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? Like, it's not hard building the business. But what really makes it all stick is the self-mastery piece, right? Because we know what to do. I've never met a woman who doesn't know what to do.
True.
I mean, if you ask, what do you need to do to lose weight? I need to go to the gym. I need to, you know, drink more water. I need to stress less. People know what they need to do.
We just choose to be like,
right.
No, thanks. I don't want to do that.
So that's why they come to me, is they think they need a strategy fix. And there's some that definitely do. But the work that I'm obsessed with is getting down to the real root of why they're procrastinating, why they have these fears and self-doubt, right? Because that inner voice is going to keep them stuck. That's lack of self-trust. They're not going to play bigger. They're not going to say yes to stages that would have scared the snot out of them. They're not going to say yes to book projects like this, you know? So ultimately, I think the challenges that they finally realize that they have to overcome is fear, self-doubt, lack of self-trust, and that internal game. We have to master the internal game.
Yeah, and fear and lack of self-trust, I feel like that is a huge thing for women across the board, whether they are entrepreneurs, mothers, just whoever they are. That is a huge thing. And that's such important work that you're doing then to really make sure that they can change their identity and their mindset. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's the missing piece.
Yep.